I'm hopeful too, Tom. Let's dive on into this game and see what's going to be brought to the table. With G2 on the attack, it's Patatek that's getting aggressive. The rest of Excel joining him. A 4-player mid push coming out of these guys, and that has already gained them a kill. A lot of damage as well, but Meadow manages to return it. But for a second, oh God, Hoodie really wanted to fight there.
I'm almost certain that all of these cams are very confusing right now, so make sure you ignore them. They are definitely backwards. But Ozzy is going to be able to find another one back. It leaves 3 players, at least getting some control. Now, normally there's some decent after-part utility, but it doesn't seem to be there at the moment. Only a solo start available for Avova, and, well, it's also getting his teammates sectioned off. They're going to try and get a little bit more aggressive. The push from Hoodie, though, gets absolutely nothing, and they are being slaughtered one by one. It's left onto Avova again, and this clutch, slightly more difficult than the one we've seen prior. It will be Chihuahua. Definitely made a big difference in terms of the map, and, well, we now get to see how they fight on their own map choice after losing one. And in the early stages of the round, it seems like a fairly safe buy coming out from Excel. They're going to invest into Spectres, keeping themselves a Marshal, no pistols kept over just to fight into the next round. And on the other side of things, it almost seems like Avova's just trying to play with his opposition, maybe bait them into getting a little bit more aggressive, spamming off some shots, maybe even pulling a rotation, because for now at least, they're trying to challenge a little bit of mid control. See if anybody's going to go pushing.
They have spotted that the door is closed, and they would have heard that earlier as well, but on the G2 side, that might make them want to push up through middle. One of the problems is, there could, although they know that Market and Pizza are cleared, there could be that guy coming around through spawn. And Hoodie is going to take the risk, go through, and the question is he destroying the door? Is he faking out that mid control? Or is this going to be a late play in through middle? Try and get that spawn flank and a lot of damage. Well, if that's what's going to happen, they need to hold on the site here. G2 need to have some players alive to distract with. And they've actually... Oh, no! As the plant's going down, they've only got one left and Hoodie's being spotted. This round's done.
Yeah, I think for Hoodie, it was just an attempt to try and get an extra kill. Even still, though, 2 kills.
Yeah. Managing it is hard because there's so many of these nasty little angles that those pistols can play with as well. It's actually very difficult to have that control over your own economy as well. And I think more particularly on the attack side, because you're always pushing in through these nasty angles. There's a lot of info play from G2, and you see they use their drone up early to clear out these close angles. Ascent dashes onto this side, but Chihuahua catches him. No escape from Generator from that point, though. So the man advantage does sit with the attackers and only extends further in their favor.
Yeah, it's the curse of the Jet, really. You're dashing into the site, you're taking big risks to try and give your team space. As long as they're trading effectively, as we saw there, it really doesn't matter too much. And, well, for the remaining 2 players of Excel, again, it comes down to damage. Can you hold some of these players into the site? Can you force a couple of rebuys for the next round? Can you maybe steal away a rifle for yourself? By the looks of it, the answer is no, although Panitic actually wins that battle at range.
Come online is perfect for them. Element having used his earlier. Here we go.
Run it back.
Right away, the run it back's coming out. I mean, I thought they'd wait at least a moment, but why would you? When you're able to get 2 kills that quickly with Element running it down on mid, and he's even got support. They're going to try, if they try to deal with him down below, they'll then have a bit of a problem with Mo peeking further back up on mid, and now Chihuahua as well.
That was a wonderful setup from Excel. The dart was the main part of it. Like, it gave so much information to the players that were pushing. Like, there's probably not even a kill coming through there for Patatek if that dart doesn't manage to scan the player at the back a couple of times through the smoke, because G2 had a few pieces of utility to try and deny that sort of push. But, yeah, excellent sort of little setup, a gimmick that you can throw in every once in a while, and with Element also pushing alongside it, like, your opponents are always going to be distracted by a run it back, because that guy has absolutely nothing to lose. So yeah, the fact that he sneaks through and gets something else in return is huge. 40 seconds left for G2. They're going to try and make it into A, and, well, they do some damage to Patatek, but they've managed to cross.
Yeah, getting on into the site. Spike's going to be brought with them. That door being destroyed is a big problem for them, and they're going to combat that by just pushing on through, looking to take those duels, and they get a lot of them. But then, in comes Element from short, catching them unaware. Mo
He'll get res.
Finishing off another, and Hoodie, yeah, he'll get res, but he won't have an opportunity to use it. In fact, with 14 seconds left, he might not even have an opportunity to plant. Out they come to challenge.
But individually, so it makes sense that he enjoys this map. His counterpart, though, is no slouch. As we've seen throughout this series so far, Element can definitely put up numbers when needed, and Kellogg's is going to be relied on very heavily in this round, Mitch, because he's about all they've got.
Well, you know, even though he is very much the main player for them right now, he's moving alone, or was for a while. Meadow's now starting to group up with him a little bit, but after the feet were spotted by the cam, Gravwell goes down. That prompts G2 to think about moving back. Hoodie was still holding on mid this whole time, and, you know, pressuring the wings is good to try and bait somebody out into Hoodie's crosshair, but as they reach 55 seconds left, they make the right call, in my opinion, which is to group up and try to push this site down. You can no longer rely on XL making the mistake. Now G2 have to create their own opportunities.
They've got the cam up above still. Almost definitely going to spot someone on the way through, and already 3 players ready and waiting. Chihuahua's down, though. This could become a problem. Aussie's fallen. Luckily, their savior, Element, has managed to find 2 and make this a little bit less of a worry. Hoodie, though, is actually going to invest the ult. I believe that brings the knives back online as long as they weren't used earlier. And you can see, I think they are. The flash straight through, though. They're not allowing the plant. They're going in for the fight. Kellogg's managing to find out one, and the problem now is that the time is ticking. The flash is nigh on perfect, forcing them. Things happen. I have to give huge credit to XL for being able to recover that one. They now face off against the buy round of G2. Full rifles to come into play. And a lockdown for Meadow, but look how many ults there are for XL. Yeah.
And in particular, it's the Hunter's Fury that can now completely ruin the lockdown.
Yeah, it basically becomes a game of chicken. He's going to try and hold on to that until the lockdown goes down, and, well, they're going to try and use it after the fact. Nice start from Element. The other thing to know about the last round is, sure, financially it wasn't great, but they used 3 ultimates in that round. Kellogg's, no, that is ridiculous. Snaps back onto the second head, gets rid of Aussie, and Element just flies over the top, and Hoodie's gone as well. It really is just a brawl of these 2 jets. How many players or who can take down the most?
That spike's going to be planted. On the A side, shock darts coming in. That was the turret it was on top of, but that second one lands on Nukia. Recon as well coming through, not really netting them anything. Was that a whiffed one? Oh no. I mean, for Kellogg's to find that kill to Element, now what do? XL need to push out and hope that they win these fights. The barrel's being spotted, but the cage goes down. Oh, Chihuahua. If he had a second longer on that cage, maybe it would have worked out, but now Mo is left with an impossible task, and there you go.
Start 4-1 down.
Lot of spraying going on here, and Patatek is getting the short straw. They're about to be spotted out as well by the drone, and now things are going to fall apart for this squad. Kellogg's, 40 HP left. Time to get out of there.
How are both players pinged up there and both of them managed to survive? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. The fact as well that I think Patatek got a warband kill with a Spectre. Like, that battle didn't go the way it was supposed to. It was actually a player on short that died for XL instead, maybe trying to help out with the scenario. And there's a tagged up Kellogg's as well. And considering how much impact he had in the last round and the whole map so far, it's definitely a bit of a worry. He's still going to be the one taking the space, though. Trying to get that a little bit more aggressive, trying to find some control, but, well, Patatek is 1 away from a run it back, so this battle could be everything in this round.
Certainly a lot to play for. He healed himself up earlier. Now sitting on Pizza, hard angle to clear when you're on your own. And on 40 HP as well. This is gonna have to be a quick shot by Kellogg's, and he's shift walking up to the corner. Gonna make it around, make it away. Get his weapon back out. He's on 14 health at this point, and Patatek takes him down. Now things get very dangerous. A rifle retrieved, and he can heal himself up fully by popping that ultimate. They know exactly where the spike is, and now they just need to use that weapon in the form of Patatek to open the space.
Yeah, they've still got the Hunter's Fury, so again, the lockdown almost seems to come through as null and void, but Nuke instead is going to opt to try and take the space. Now he has his own Hunter's Fury, and in an after plant from this position, they have to clear it. They need to kill him off before they can get absolutely anything done. By the looks of it, XL might not be willing to invest that ultimate just because of the control that's been taken, but Patatek then clears him, and now it's left all on 12 over again, but he's brought it back to the 1 versus 1. Back through the Molotov he goes, but he can't quite close it. Have killed him at the beginning. Like I said, he was getting pinged through a wall and managed to survive. Element, it's just disrespectful. Hoodie, well, he was dead very early in the last round from a wallbang from a Spectre. Now he's dead very early in this round because a player's updrafted, shot him in the head, and then left back through B. The pace is going to be picked up towards this A side, but just look how much utility is there waiting.
Yep, that drone's going to see that no person is standing there, but that does not mean it's safe. Crossing over now, a big task. Chihuahua. Oh, he's got one nice and easy alongside Mo. Another to be found in the hands of Meadow. Remember, G2 bought up this round. They went to 0 credits. And with only one player left alive, it's looking like they're going to pay a heavy price for that. With an eco to come up next and 7 rounds. Higher map. A and B pushes whilst playing passive mid control or something like that. Well, Meadow has to be much more proactive, lurking on one side of the map if he's holding onto it. And you see he's doing exactly that now.
Look how many people are at B-Link. They're like, go on, do it again, Element. Do it again. Try and updraft on us. We're waiting. We'll all sit here until you do it. He's all the way back at B, just not even making a move. He would be absolutely mad to try that again, but I would respect it. Like if he was just like, you know what? Got him once, I'll get him twice.
Take flight.
Well, here comes the drone to double check that they haven't got a Kellogg's to deal with. Or an Element, sorry, to deal with somewhere up close, tucked in a corner. Sini's not here either. They know about the trap wire. Kellogg's will destroy that in just a moment. 45 left on the clock. G2 haven't made a move yet. Very characteristic of these pistol rounds. Try to bait your opponents into the open, into taking disadvantageous fights, but XL are aware of that. They're going to hold it down. Wait for this play to come on through. In fact, even putting down a Cosmic Divide to get them back onto the site. These guys are happy to play time.
I'm looking at Kellogg's here. 1 kill, Blade Storm. Round could be on its head. Meta almost looking like he's trying to bait for him here. Like run in first, give him something. The time is ticking though, and well, the dart doesn't really find anything. And Afterplan actually looking fairly likely here, and Kellogg still just trying to get anything he can. Nuclear will plant the peek through from Hoodie. Grants nothing. And now they have to try and fight back with still just pistols.
As you can see, those fights are not going very well to start with. Nukia at least able to find the first. He's got a teammate down below, but they just cannot find the opportunities. And with that,
the defuse, only a couple away from having to run it back once again, which, as said, that's his only goal in this defensive half. Farm up that ult as much as possible.
He's been very cautious about pushing up here, though. Patatek can't really afford to just run it down and get himself taken out immediately. I want to play greedy for the orb, but sometimes it ain't worth it. They are starting to move out and play in towards Wine, though. G2 on the other side, lurking around mid, trying to force those fights. First minute of the clock seems to be very, very slow. They want to catch XL's pushes, but the one place that the push is coming in, there's no one from G2 here to watch it. That's going to be an orb for free, potentially, but they're going to send it all the way down. And then they've been spotted by the bot, so I'm going to give up on it. That's actually going to give G2 the timing to push into B. They know now that the guys have pushed A, so it's now or never.
Oh, the spam through actually does quite a bit of damage. Chihuahua being caught off in position. Mo now actually uses, after a long time we've been waiting for it. Here we go! The lockdown, round 10. It's finally been put in for G2. And Element tries to make a play off the back of it. That Hunter's Fury coming through for just a second was enough. And they've even got a grab well. Chihuahua is screwed in this scenario. Finally, they managed to use that ult. And it's probably got them around.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, to be honest, I assumed there was some sort of a secondary plan for dealing with it. I thought it was a fairly binary response. If you put that Hunter's Fury down, immediate response for like, okay, what do we do when they lock down in 10 seconds? Because that's what they're going to do if we Hunter's Fury right now. It didn't seem like there was a response to that. Either way. 7-3. Still could be a good half for G2 if they close out the rest of this. Only managing the previous round, though. Really, I'm going to say without the lockdown, their chances of success go down by quite a lot based on what we've seen so far. I would not be worrying if I'm XL just yet.
That flash, I think, kind of wrecked Element. Actually going to see a pop from Nuke, yeah. It's not quite going to get Patatek, but it does give Hoodie a little bit of space. I think that was the plan. The problem is he's just getting flashed off, and they know he's here. Free information. You normally say he was shot off like a flare, but the fact is he was making as much sound as humanly possible. Just trying to deny anybody pushing aggressively onto him. The fact is, though, this space that's been taken almost seems like a ruse. You can already spot the push starting to come up in the other direction, but Ozzy is sat there with his star remaining, and actually, they're going to clear this spot in just a moment because they have the run it back going to hunt down Hoodie.
Well, here comes the push on through. G2 trying to open up these fights, but Chihuahua again going to be a bit of a pain in the side for them. Evolva's managed to deal with him, though, and get that plant on through. With the star still remaining, he'll look for a post plant in a little bit. In fact, no, the star is going to go down up towards heaven. I'm not sure if he has any pulled back, coming back online in a moment, but that's going to be quite an aggressive play. Maybe they're going to get Nuki to try spam. No, in fact, it's a smoke that they'll play through. That kind of plays into Patatek's hands if he has a flash, but he doesn't. Instead, he's going to go out there with his bullets and take the first one. The wall soon to fade. Evolva staying alive, but now he's caught, and Hoodie's going to be last alive. They know exactly where he is, but getting this diffused through will be difficult.
Sure, the damage isn't really a big deal, but it just gives you a horrible duel to try and fight for. So it's a piece of utility that a lot of the time in the competitive scene is not used. And here, I think we've seen it twice now used to a very successful retake. So props to XL for finding a manner where all of the utility currently on Phoenix is actually quite useful.
Drone's going to be used by G2 through mid this time. We saw XL push up in B main early and spam the close right wall, but it was all a bait, either to clear out the corner and make a player push to the open, or to get someone else to swing and be taken down by Element. But they don't run into that. G2 have been really good at avoiding some of these nasty setups from XL. And now they're looking in towards the spawn, where Patatek probably doesn't expect 4 players to come swinging on him any moment. Up on top of the wall he goes. He definitely wasn't expecting that. Taken down in the end, boosted, but not in a good way. And now we leave Meadow. He's trapped outside of A. The rest of the team rallying their way in. He could have some great timing as they're distracted looking towards heaven, but he's not even needed. Kellogg's just cleans house all by himself.
I think we've seen a couple of rounds like that. Like, honestly, the fact that G2 are about to get 4 rounds on the board, or almost solely because of the ability of this man just to win rounds for them. Like, he has had a fantastic performance thus far, and he's just carrying on. 4 kills already, looking to try and close it with an ace. I'm sure that he's going to get a little bit aggressive to try and finish it, but seemingly actually not overfacing here. Just waiting for the peak to come through. Well, mid control is the attempt in the early game. Kellogg's will spot the drone, but because he's been forced off the angle, they're going to take some very early control. Now, the alarm bot is going to spot for this. They've also got the turret, so in most rounds, the turret's probably not going to have a chance to do a lot of damage, but in combination with an alarm bot, it definitely could. And with all the utility that's there, just going to be tapping away. But they have managed to get quite a lot of control here, but the rotation is very, very quick.
Well, there's the spike dropped immediately. Patatek gets quite a bit of damage done through the smoke. Now looks towards the site where there's some players to deal with down below, namely Evolva.
Bro, it seemed like G2 had a solid plan for when they inevitably had that push onto short. So solid stuff from them. Again, we're seeing how that Killjoy utility can be used in a slightly different manner to what we would normally see from the Cypher. Is you just have that early alarm system that's also going to have the chance to do quite a bit of damage as they run through.
It's a stampede coming towards B. The problem is I do think they want to get out onto mid as well. Look at Chihuahua. If he steps forward, he's going to walk right into Kellogg's, who's been holding it the whole time. But the second that Kellogg steps away, that's when Chihuahua walks out, when he peeks the angle, when he starts to step in towards mid and look for this flank. If they take down the first players inside of B main. If these pistols can just trade it out, and that opens up Chihuahua to flank it up, but no damage is being done. And so by the time he gets here, they're very much
like 3 or 4 ults away, so very, very unlikely to see anything here. Hoodie, though, same strat. He's got the slow orb, a push into it from Element, and it's a freebie.
Drone right afterwards as well. Want to triple check they're still around, and there's 2 of them spotted. Great information for G2 on a round like this as well. Shock darts coming over. Chihuahua down to just 24 HP, and Mo isn't much healthier either. XL immediately back out of here. Maybe immediately isn't the right word, but they do back out of here eventually. Start moving towards middle. And they're going to find it hard to engage in a lot of these duels. These low HP guys. It's got to be Ozzy and Patatek leading these charges.
Again, there's going to be that early warning system set up by Meadow with the turret. They should expect it to be there because they walked into it in the last round. There you go. They'll now know it's there. Instantly, you start seeing the rotation, the slows put through of Over, about to come under pressure. I don't think he expected anyone to be that far forward, but there's still going to be a trade back. And with the HP, those rifles aren't actually that much of a detriment anymore to G2. This is very winnable.
Oh, the drop is good, but although it gets a bullet out, Mo still survives on 16 HP. Kellogg's and Nukia have to make this happen. Nukia peeking down below will find the first. Low HP on Chihuahua in main. But he hasn't been spotted or heard just yet. The info's still not there, so he's able to sideswipe. That shot, the good comp change, at least for this series.
Yeah, and it's also one that won't work for everybody. And then that's why it's much more enjoyable. Like, I think that there will be other teams that attempt to run this Phoenix. It will fall completely flat on their face, and XL will just be giggling to themselves. And it's happened before. We saw it the last time that Phoenix was being introduced into these sort of compositions, because it is very reliant on that player performing, and when they're not, still being able to use that utility for some level of value. And, well, luckily for XL in this series, they got both.
With a minute left on the clock,
Taking that back.
they're so close to victory. Just 4 rounds away, with G2's economy quite low. I'll be getting, or they won't be running up against 4 buy rounds in a row, let's say it that way. But what they will be coming up against in this one, aside from the rifles that G2 have got, is a 4, I mean, just look at the map. A 4 stack on A, all of that utility, Astra and Killjoy, and there's only 1 player on the other side of the map, including mid. They are running into the entire team, and that run it back, I don't think they've read the right info from that. They still think there's only 1 or 2 players here, and they're going to charge on out, but that's going to be a big mistake, as Hoodie is getting a flank up. Chihuahua will eventually deal with him, but there's just so many players diving at them left, right, and center. Time now becomes an issue. The spike's in the open. There's 6 seconds left. They've got to run to sight, and time is just about on their side. I think they've got this planted, and indeed they do. Kellogg's has to clutch it out with the open.
And you came in with a worse buy than your opposition. There was like a Bulldog in the mix, like a few weaker weapons, because the round against the bonus didn't exactly go great. So a solid recovery from XL, and wow, some attempted heroics on the other side, but it hasn't worked out this time. Now they come through with what is pistols once again, a chance for XL to get an 11th on the board. Patatek he's just going to sit in the grab well, but it leaves him low. It won't matter. The trade's coming back and forth, and maybe it will matter.
Yeah, the instantaneous trade as Element falls. XL gain the site. With a spike in hand, at least that will be a plan to step closer to the ultimate. But look, here's the other positive. All those players died on site, in ranged fights. Nobody ran into Garden. Nobody jumped into Heaven or got overeager. That means that these rifles haven't been retrieved. G2 have to fight back into a 4v2 with the pistols.
Oh.
It's not a problem at all. I've misspoken there, evidently, because they've just made it look like they had the better weapon.
Kind of given themselves a bit of an economy buffer. So, yeah, sure, you're not going to want to lose this round because it puts you right on the brink of losing the map. But at the same time, if there is a mistake, if something slips, you still have enough finances to actually buy back. So that last round was a huge boost. Now, Element, he's going to get himself a Blaze Storm. He spotted at least one of the players in that back corner, but there's not really anything they can do about it.
No, the right call made by G2. You hear the updrafts, you hide. Just let him waste that little bit of utility. Now he's much less mobile coming into these Blade Storm fights, which is going to be a huge deal. Still with a dash online.
Oh, I thought for
There's
a
a wall.
second they were going to try and go over the wall. No, I thought because Nuke looked like he was going to try and jump it, but it was just because he managed, like Chihuahua managed to dodge the drone completely.
I'll say, XL running into this utility haven't had the worst of times in at least securing the site. The Blade Storm's ability to move around is going to help a lot. And that dash is still online to play with. The Vova doesn't seem deterred at all, though, despite spotting the Jet a moment ago. He is just walking around like he... Basing nailed down is going to help a lot, but when you're playing with pistols, I suppose there's not as much of an excuse behind that slow play. With rifles, your Blade Storm gets miles ahead of you. I understand that. That definitely does happen. But when you've got the pistols, it is far better to just be hot on their heels than to let them run in alone and not be able to trade up like that. So I get what you're saying for sure, and I think something to look into for future rounds, but shouldn't really be that much of a problem here. I see that, though. Element's charging in yet again. He's taken down in a fight, and Evova's more than enough time to just reset and take the other two players down. I said it might not have had any impact in this round, and absolutely did. Element just had no support on the way through there. And Evova had all the time in the world.
Just an elevated angle and just fight after fight after fight almost looked too easy. A little bit of spam taken through the box, but G2 have responded in turn. It's only going to be one man standing, and, well, Mo, not really much he can hope to do. Again, it's the same scenario as the last round. May not even realize that there's still a player watching.
Box and then fire a few shots before correcting and taking him down. And again, I can't blame Element for that. He's the first guy in. He's clearing danger angles. Guy's already peeking him. He's not clearing the guy jumping on a box back site. That's where the spacing was an issue. Teammates need to be clearing that. Pistols close. Little bit of danger for sure. But they've dealt with it nicely. Dropped the spike and left XL into a 2v4. That's the right
And they're ready. I think as well, though, a lot of it's just come down to these same executes being attempted. The adaptations coming through from G2 in every single round to have a different trap setup. This time they're more aggressively onto tree. And because of that, they're now starting to try and push in other directions, which I think are just tougher to take in general, but especially because they haven't really fleshed out a lot of that side of the map. Like, what, have you gone for a mid-B split? No, so you don't know how they're going to play it.
Oh, here we go. Flash around Kellogg's. Oh, I like the idea to try peek into it, but he's going to have to just concede that control now and back off. They don't want to peek into the angle, though, knowing there could be an op there. That's going to slow XL's progression. Flash is going to be burned up for it. Not bad to commit that for that control. Knowing that the player isn't still in market at least, or even though they'd seen early that a second one isn't.
Look at Hoodie. He's just gone straight through. He's now sat deep in B main. He knows that this isn't a push in this direction. Now, there is a player waiting on the other side, but he can give so much information over to his teammates. Look at them start to rotate to A, but they catch him. They were waiting, and this ends up being a bit of a mistake, just going that little bit too far and expecting them to fall back into another take onto A.
They've spotted Kellogg's as well. They've got the info that he's on the backside. Okay, the molly going down into the corner. The ult's still online for now. 5 seconds as they get in towards the site. Here goes the Blade Storm, and it's dealing massive damage. Lockdown eventually detaining.
He's detained.
And I'm gonna be on the back of it. Instead, they're at 11 to 10. Timeout called, and they've got to come out on top here. There's no more wiggle room, and they're force buying into it with 4 Spectres. XL are going to try to take the A site. This is a big challenge, and look at how G2 have shifted in this round. They're no longer playing all this util on the A site. Instead, it's in short, where XL want to push. This could be disastrous, and indeed, the Grabwell's going down, the Nano Swarms as well. There's a safe corner to hide in at least.
Even still, they've managed to isolate these players, but the fact is it is still going to be a push into the site. Now, there's a res available, but that's useless at the moment to G2 because nobody's died. Kellogg's, though, well, he might be getting close to it because he just goes walking in with an off.
Charge in his way. I mean, ambitious, if anything, certainly prompted on by that res that's coming through now. But numbers equalized. XL have a tougher task. These weaker weapons going to be challenged once this utility goes down and things come into more ranged engagements. Chihuahua close on 50 HP, not even able to get a kill. He did connect a headshot, but no frag after, and the attackers are falling apart. All left down to Element. And on the back of the site, he couldn't hold on.
Bad round considering what was invested, but yeah, this now needs to be a response, and the amount of damage they did might make things a little bit more questionable. The only problem is how many rounds in a row G2 have actually won, so financially they should still be absolutely fine. He's been tagged twice.
Yeah, the double tags came through. It might have been Patty that got tagged the other time, but they were trying to force out there, take the Bladestorm fight up mid, nothing found. Now they refocus their attention.
Different again.
Kellogg's, he has a chance here with the op, and he's going to catch Element. Bladestorm down. Hadatek wondering whether he even thinks about going for it. The flash does connect, and it forces Kellogg's off the angle. But they are not committing to A anymore. XL are moving back over to this B site. The wall about to break, but look who's holding it. Patiently waiting. Hoodie has spotted them, and he'll drop a slow and get on out of there.
Just delaying. And the fact is, because they've locked down the rest of the map, the only place that they really have to worry about is mid, and you can see that Meadow is already watching for it, making sure that any space that's being taken will be seen. There might be a timing here. The problem is the rest of the players are being slaughtered as they look to walk through onto the site. It's now down to Padatek to find something, and he still doesn't get the kill onto Kellogg's. His whole team is now gone. He's got 20 seconds to try and save this, and well, it's impossible. No